Welcome to the Technology Tips by Centrend video podcast. I'm Paul LaFlamme, your host for the show. I love working with a whiteboard. In fact, I can think of no technique more effective for brainstorming a project than getting a team of folks sharing ideas in front of a whiteboard. In 2020, we're forced out of the office, but the need for project collaboration and groupthink doesn't stop. Enter the digital whiteboard, a powerful team collaboration tool that lets you collaborate with up to 50 participants that can be located anywhere in the world. So start a new jam by clicking the plus sign at the bottom right corner. The jam will be untitled, but you can give it a title if you like just by clicking here. So now we'll draw something. Let's see, we can grab the pen tool right there. Defaults to a black color. If you want to change color, like maybe this nice blue here, and then what I'll do is I'll just do a little simple network diagram as a demonstration. So internet is often represented as a cloud. So there's my cloud. That's all right. You can laugh if you want at my artistry. It's all right. And then if you want a text box, you can click here, and then you can type internet. And just like before, you can change colors and things. You can change colors here if you click this button, and you can change what that color of the text is. So here's internet, and you can position it around. I mean, on a whiteboard, you don't get to do anything like this. On a traditional whiteboard, I mean, here you've got a real advantage because you can make it look exactly as you want. Then let's see. We're going to have a network server over here, but I'm going to make that connector line a dark color, and we'll say that this is a server. So we'll just make a little firewall first. Here's an interesting tip for you too. Let's erase what we just did. There's two ways to erase. I can do an eraser, or I can just go back like this. So undo in the top left corner here, like that. And then if I want to make sure that the lines are nice and straight instead of jagged, when I start drawing, if I hold the shift key, it keeps that line nice and straight, and it even snaps to the 90-degree angles. So I do that, and this. You can make a much nicer looking box. Then, if I want this to say that it's the firewall, here's what we can do. We'll make this red because it's a firewall. Okay, and then if I grab the control right here, I can turn this whole thing like that. Slide it over. There's my firewall in my drawing. Then what I can do is I can add an image right from the internet. This is one of the reasons that I told you Google Jamboard is one of my favorites. If you wanted to insert an image into most of the other products, what you'd have to do is go to the internet, you'd have to do a search, you'd have to save the file somewhere, you'd have to remember where you saved it, you'd have to click some control to insert an image, and then you'd have to point to the file you saved. With this tool, all you have to do is click Google Image Search, and I can say PC or server clip art. And there's a little server that I can drag and drop into my drawing. I find one that I like. I kind of like this one. And then I'll insert. Right? Then I can just move this over. I can resize it by grabbing the corner controls here. Make it a different size. And this is showing that I've got a server and PCs on my network at work behind a firewall, which is always a good idea. Like that. Again, this is not meant to be a network diagramming tool. I'm just drawing it to show you how we can brainstorm on it. So for example, someone might come and say, well, is firewall strong enough? Right? They might do that, and right. So you can illustrate and you can collaborate on this together. And that's really what the whole value of the whiteboarding is. So let me introduce someone from WizKid support that's going to come on and collaborate with us on this file. The first thing I've got to do is invite someone to collaborate with me, because the jam is going to be private to me until I share it. So I'm going to click share, and I'm going to invite WizKid, there it is, WizKidHelpers@gmail.com. And I'm going to give them ability to edit. I could also make them a viewer if they were just kind of observing, but generally with this tool you'd want to let people share it. You can put in a separate message, a private message if you'd like to. Click send. It's a warning that it's out of my organization, Centrend.com. I'm going to share it anyway. Now we can see that WizKid Support just joined right up here. So now when the consultant from WizKid Support wants to add to the drawing, they can just go ahead and they can draw just like we can. So let's watch them do that. They just added something to our drawing. Now just because they added it, we still have shared control. So we can move it around, they can move it around. You don't want to play tug of war, but the point being that you have control over what they're doing in a sense that it's true collaborative efforts. Now they've added an image of someone using a laptop to work from home. They can get as fancy with that as we'd like to, but I'm really trying to just demonstrate the capability of the sharing. You can have up to 50 people on this at once, so it's a really powerful collaboration tool. Some other things you can do in the same file called Centrend Technology Tips Episode 4 is you can have multiple pages of this. You can't expand the canvas with this tool. So what you see here is the size of my whiteboard. Just like a real whiteboard, you can't draw off the whiteboard. You can't slide it infinitely. But what's good about that is it allows us to print this really nicely if we need to print it later. So no more taking pictures of the whiteboard and printing it out. We can just print it directly from here. So you can click that button and you can see a completely blank slide where you can start drawing something else. So maybe I can start here, work from home tips. And then we can collaborate on work from home tips that we might want to share together. So if I add another text box here and expand it, ideas, right? And then here we can brainstorm ideas together as to what are some ideas that we have. Some other things you can do here is if you want to draw a perfect circle or other shape, you can just click the shape and draw it out. That way you can quickly get to perfect shapes on your drawing without having to struggle with you know, freehand drawing it, something you can't do on a traditional whiteboard. You know, whatever you want to say here. And then you can use arrow shapes and draw things. One of the ways that this is commonly used is someone might create a diagram such as this one and then want to show someone else, invite participants to view it, how that view is used. You can click the laser pointer and you could go into a description of what this is all about. So here's the internet, right? And then we always have a firewall. And then here's your corporate computers behind the firewall. And then here's a home user, right? So my point is you can use this laser pointer tool to illustrate what's happening in the diagram, just as if you had a laser pointer pointing at a whiteboard. Very powerful, versatile tools that are really easy to use. That's one of the things I really like about the Google's Jamboard is just how accessible everything is. Any of these controls that have an arrow pointing to the right means you can click a second time to get more options, such as the highlighter tool, the marker, or the paintbrush. Here, you might have seen I clicked and then clicked again to pick a different shape. So if I want to draw a triangle, I can draw a triangle right here. And then from there, it can be rotated or shaped and stretch it out. As you can see, a digital whiteboard is a powerful practical tool for team collaboration. I kept this demonstration simple, but oftentimes you have a conference call or Zoom meeting going on at the same time so that participants can hear each other and discuss as they draw, just as if they were in the same room. There's also a physical Jamboard for when you have some collaborators on premises while working with remote team members at the same time. I'll put a link to information about that in the description. I hope you enjoyed our podcast today and put Jamboards to use in your business. Thanks for watching.